Can you describe your typical writing day?
Yeah. So, I said, I find that I get a lot of good stuff down earlier. My brain just is more lucid, I think, because it maybe is because I'm coming off of like a sleep. So 6, 7 to 9 a.m. is where I think I write my best. That's me personally, and I would just tackle that and try to write. Some days I could get 4 pages. Some days I'll get half a page. But when I'm finishing up a script, I write till like 2 or 3 from that moment. So try to get a good 8 hours in. Sometimes I'll stare at the page, or I'm researching, or I'm talking things out or writing out. But when I'm finished working on a script, I try to do that a good amount, like a good steady amount each day. The rewrites, when I'm doing rewrites, so after just recently, we just did a read through, so we'll have it read through to see how it sounds. Because sometimes when you read a script, you read it faster or slower. So when you have someone who just reads it out, you could get a better time. If it's the scene's too long, if everyone's twiddling their thumb and going, hey, let's wrap this up, that's when you could tell if you want to cut it up more, make it faster. So we'll do a read through, and then we'll have notes, and then I'll go through Wake Up and send some emails, but then I'll go through the notes and knock it out, and go, hey, we need to add a little more humor here, or hey, we got to do this, or cut this out, or this is a 3-page scene. We need to trim it down. So I would work those angles. So again, the earlier the better for me. So I could, it doesn't seem like my brain works a little bit better that way.
When you do the read through, or you have someone else do it, are they reading with no emotion?
Yeah, they're just reading it through, so they don't have to act it out. They could just read scene headings, seeing this, and sometimes they'll get into an act, but they don't have to be. It doesn't have to be like a table read of everything, but just go interior, Jacob's kitchen, so and so comes in, and they'll just read it normal. Yeah, so we could see the pacing, and then if there's a issue where they want to go, it's like, hey, does he really say yes ma'am right now? He said it 3 yes ma'ams three pages ago or something. I don't think he's going to say yes ma'am now. So you could really kind of work on dialogue too, in that this sounds a little bit off or forced, so everyone would have like an idea, and me as a writer, I'll take the notes and go, and that helps because when you guys are reading in your head, sometimes you get stuck, so it's nice to kind of hear the words out. It doesn't have to be acted out, but that gives you a better time frame. So I recommend that if you could get even a friend after you finish something, have them read through. The last read through took us we started at 11 and finished at like 4, because you're going through each page, each word. We would stop, and you go, oh, what do you think about that? Things like that. So that really helped.
There's a new job description in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Have a job as just a reader.
Yeah, just read it through.
On Zoom or something.
Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Because, it's better to have someone versus the writer read it, or, director, so you could sit there, have your team of collaborators, a producer, director, whoever, and so they could hear it out.
Once you start writing a screenplay, how often do you write? How often do you go to write it? So page 1 of something, you're getting up at 6 in the morning maybe, mm-hmm. You're excited, and then maybe you're stopping at 9 a.m. depending on your schedule, and then how often are you going back to it to finish?
During the day?
During the course of however long it takes you to finish, so that whether it's a year, 10 years?
I just finished one. It took me about 4 months, and I spent every day pretty much at it for about average of like 4 to 5 hours a day on it. So that one, yeah, so it depends. Like I said, the ROADS to PEARLA, look how long it took. But now as you get better and you're more confident of what you want and the structure of the scenes and the things like that. And I had in my head of like what Stephen King always says of like, you don't wait for inspiration, you just get to work, you know? So even if I'm staring at the page or something, I'm zoned in, I'm focusing on it. So I wanted to kind of just keep chiseling it. And sometimes you get great breakthroughs, you know, and you'll write a good amount. But it's different for each one. For the last couple ones, I'll be disciplined on that. Like I just try to treat myself like an athlete. If I had to go do this if in a day, what would so and so? I hear, you know, let's say like I just read something. It was just on Jimmy Butler from Miami Heat. He said he was up at 3 or 4 a.m. practicing or something like that. So I wanted to implement those kind of like practices. They always say like I try to do things that you don't want to do because they're usually good for you. And then, so it's like I don't want to wake up every day and do this, but if you love it, if you're challenged by it, it's not that painful. So I'm fortunate to kind of go, oh, awesome. I'm gonna work on this. Meanwhile, we're also trying to run, commercials and things like that. So you have to balance kind of different things and stuff, and doing that. And you might not have certain weeks where you can, but I'll try to at least slide something in. Maybe it's 2 a.m. to 4, afterwards. But at least I'll try to put the hours in for writing. Yeah.
Wow, so you're up writing occasionally at 2 a.m.?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Sometimes, yeah, because you're just so kind of addicted to it because you're in the cusp. If you're just in the cusp of breaking through the scene, and just get it out. And then you could come back later and elevate it, and texturize it and do this, but you're in a roll, and like if you keep getting rolls, then you'll get to that 90-page, 100-page, and you're like, I finished, and let it sit, and now you could work on the rewrite afterwards.